Once again, welcome to our viewing of number 4, where we are looking at the system that God gave to the Jewish, the benevolent system, and how I pray that we shall continue learning together and we may continue admonishing each other in the ways of the Lord. And so right now I want to look at the first fruit, the benevolence, and the first fruits. And so I'll go ahead. These were the requirements that the Lord had upon the nation of Israel for the sanctuary services and for the temple services. So benevolence, where or from what were they to give their benevolence? First of all, it's a thanks offering, in free will offerings, in trespass offerings. Every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loveth a cheerful giver. 2 Corinthians 9:7. Take ye from among you an offering unto the Lord, whosoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it. An offering of the Lord, Exodus 35, verse 5. And if you offer sacrifice of peace offering unto the Lord, ye shall offer it at your own will. And when you will offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving unto the Lord, offer it at your own will. Leviticus 22:29 and Leviticus 19, verse 5. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God, thou shalt not slack to pay it, for the Lord thy God will surely require it of thee, and it will be seen in thee. But if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in thee. That which is gone out of thy lips thou shalt keep and perform, even a free will offering, according as thou hast vowed unto the Lord thy God, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. Deuteronomy 23:21-23. The gleanings and the corners of the field were reserved for the poor. The first fruit of the wool, when the sheep were shorn, of the grain, when the wheat was threshed, was set apart for God. So also are the firstborn of all animals, and redemption price was paid for the firstborn son. The first fruit were to be presented before the Lord at the sanctuary and were then devoted to the use of the priests. Acts of Apostle 336, paragraph 3. We are looking at the benevolence, where it should come from, and is it obligatory or is it from the purpose of the heart? We all know that everything that is brought to the sanctuary has to be of free will offering. When I say free will offering, it should be from your heart. It should not be like you are being forced to bring out something, but it should be from your heart. The plan of redemption was entirely voluntary on the part of our Redeemer, and it is the purpose of Christ that all our benevolence should be free will offering. That is what I have just said. V and Herald, January 1, 1875. Whether it be tithe, whether it be first tithe or second tithe, whether it be benevolence fund, or whether it be the first fruit. All these things are free will offerings. No one is forcing you, but you start cutting off yourself from the fold of God when you start grudgingly giving out what God has blessed you with. So we are told in Psalms 24 that the earth and everything is in it is the Lord's. They are not to bring a yearly gift merely, but should also really present a weekly and monthly offering before the Lord. This work is left to the people, for it is to be to them a weekly, monthly living test. Again, the consecration to God of tithe of all increase, whether of the orchard and harvest field, the flocks and herds, or the labor of brain or hand, the devotion of second tithe for the relief of the poor and other benevolent uses tended to keep fresh before the people the truth of God's ownership of all and of their opportunity to be channels of his blessings. It was a training adapted to kill out all narrowing selfishness and to cultivate breadth and nobility of character. Education, page 44. Again, should this be tithed? we find no evidence that the benevolence should be tithed from. Uh, and then what else do I have to look at when I'm speaking about what is the use of the benevolent fund? I'm just in the second last column, if you are following along. What is the use of the benevolent? Even so, faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone, James 2:15-17. If a brother or a sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, Depart in peace, be ye warmed and filled, notwithstanding you give them not those things which are needful to the body, what doth it profit? But thou must eat them before the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, thou and thy son, thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the labor that is within thy gates, and thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God in all that thou putteth thine hands unto, thou putteth thy hands unto. There is Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 18, and also Deuteronomy 14:29. James 1:27 says, Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. Besides all these systematic and regular donations, there were special objects calling for free will offerings, and that is where benevolence falls, such as the tabernacle built in the wilderness and the temple erected at Jerusalem. These drafts were made by God upon the people for their own good, as well as to sustain his service. So this benevolence was for providing for the necessities of life, in blessing others and advancing the cause of Christ. Christ Object Lesson, page 351. Remember that he will one day say, Give an account of thy stewardship. Let us invest in the bank of heaven the means entrusted to our care by using it to supply the wants of the needy or to advance the cause of God. Signs of the Time, March 31, 1887, paragraph 14. Under the Jewish system, the people were taught to cherish a spirit of liberality, both in sustaining the cause of God and in supplying the wants of the needy. Acts of Apostles 336.3. By a chain of circumstances which will call forth his charities, he bestows upon man the best means of cultivating benevolence and keeps him habitually giving to help the poor and advance his cause. 3T, that is Testimonies to the Church, volume 3, page 382, paragraph 5. Rightly directed benevolence draws upon the mental and moral energies of men and excites them to most healthful action in blessing the needy and in advancing the cause of God. 3T 401.1. We are trying to help in every way possible. There were needy from the failure of the banks. There were needy from the failure of the banks has brought great distress, but I am circulating around and helping all I see in distress. Our means are very limited, but I borrow money to supply the necessities. E.G. White Diary, Australia, 1895. The most liberal donations for the cause of God at the relief of the needy come from the poor man's purse, while many to whom the Lord has committed an abundance for this purpose see not the necessity for means to advance the truth and hear not the cries of the poor among them. And so we find that the people who are most benevolent are the poor, while the people who should be giving for this fund are neglecting these callings. All the riches entrusted to man will prove only a curse unless he employs them to relieve his own daily wants and the wants of the needy around him, and to glorify God by advancing his cause in the earth. Review and Herald, February 9, 1886, paragraph 15. There will be an abundance of places to use the second tithe in doing honest missionary work in new places. Letter 103, 1905, page 5. And so that is the proper use of the benevolence. Improper use, I didn't find any. And then let us go to, that was about benevolence. Let us go to what we call the first fruits. The first fruits. From what? Let us see. We have seen benevolent, that you give from as you give as a thanks offering, free will offering, trespass offering, according to how you purpose. First fruits, Exodus 34:26. I'm in the last column. The first of the first fruit of thy land thou shalt bring unto the house of the Lord thy God. Leviticus 2:12. As for the oblation of the first fruit, you shall offer them unto the Lord, but they shall not be burned on the altar for a sweet savor. Verse 14, and if thou offer meat offering of thy first fruit unto the Lord, thou shalt offer for the meat offering thy first fruit, green ears of corn dried by the fire, even corn beaten out of whole ears. Leviticus 23:10 says, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. Ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 waved loaves of 2 tenth deals. They shall be of the fine flour. They shall be baken with leaven. They are the first fruit unto the Lord. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruit for a wave offering before the Lord. With 2 lambs, they shall be holy to the Lord for the priest. Again in Deuteronomy 18:4, the first fruit also of the corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the first of the fleece of thy sheep shalt thou give him. Deuteronomy 26:10, and now behold, I have brought thee first fruit of the land which thou, O Lord, hast given me, and thou shalt set it before the Lord thy God, and worship before the Lord thy God. Nehemiah 10:35, and to bring the first fruit of our ground and the first fruit of all our fruit of all trees year by year unto the house of the Lord. Also the firstborn of our sons and of our cattle, as it is written in the law, and the firstlings of our herds, of our flocks, to bring to the house of our God, and to the priests that minister in the house of God. All the best of the oil and all the best of the wine and of the wheat, the first fruit of them unto the Lord, them I have given thee. And whatsoever it first ripe in the land, which they shall bring unto the Lord, shall be thine. Everyone that is clean in thine house shall eat of it. This is the high priest. Everything devoted in Israel shall be thine. Everything that openeth the matrix in all flesh, which the Lord which they bring unto the Lord, whether it be of man or beast, shall be thine. In 2 Chronicles 31:5, and as soon as the commandment came abroad, the children of Israel brought in abundance of first fruit of corn, wine, and oil, and honey, and of all the increase of the field, and the tithe of all things brought they in abundantly. Proverbs 3:9, honor the Lord with the substance and with the first fruit of all thine increase. Ezekiel 44:30, and the first of all, the first fruit of all things, and every oblation of all, of every sort of your oblation shall be the priest. You shall also give unto the priest the first of your dough, that he may cause the blessing to rest in thine house. Should this be tithe? Yes, but as a wave offering. Numbers 18:17. But the first fruit of a cow, or of the firstling of a sheep, or the firstling of a goat, thou shalt not redeem. They are holy. Thou shalt sprinkle their blood upon the altar, and shall burn thy part for an offering made by fire, for a sweet savor unto the Lord. Leviticus 2:16. And the priest shall burn the memorial of it, part of the beaten corn thereof, and part of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof. It is an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And he shall bring it to Aaron's sons the priest, and he shall take there out his handful of the flour thereof, and of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof, and the priest shall burn the memorial of it upon the altar to be an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord. Looking at what is it is used, Numbers 18:18, the first fruits, and the flesh of them shall be thine, as the wave breast, as the right shoulder are thine. It was to be a wave offering. And there came a man from Baal Shalisha, and brought the man of God bread of the first fruit, 20 loaves of barley, and full ears of corn in the husk thereof, And he said, give unto the people that they may eat. So when we look at Second Kings, actually, somebody brought the first fruits and gave to the school of prophets. Ezekiel 44:30, and the first of all, the first fruit of all things, and every oblation of all, of every sort of your oblations, shall be the priest. Ye shall also give unto the priest of the first of it, thou that he may cause a blessing to rest in thine house. So the first fruit was a must to be brought. The word tithe uh, is used in as an obligatory term, as a something which is a must in this issue uh, of fast food. It is not like a tense, but it's a type, meaning it's a must. Again, it was to be brought to the priest, and the priest was to set it before his household. Improper use, Jeremiah 2:3, Israel was holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruit of his increase. All that devour him shall offend, evil shall come upon them, said the Lord. So if you devour the first fruit, only evil will come upon you. If you use it by yourself, if you don't give it unto the Lord, actually evil comes upon you. Ezekiel 48:14, and they shall not sell of it, neither exchange nor alienate the first fruit of the land, for it is holy unto the Lord. Do not exchange it. We are told, bring it to the Lord. And let me just backtrack a little bit. And so we find that this issue of first fruit is so important, and it is not something to be joked around with. And so it didn't have to be changed in any way. It had not to be changed or used by the people themselves. It had to be brought to the priests, to the high priest, as a worship offering, and it was obligatory. And so it was improper to use it for your own sake. Now, as I said, this system of benevolence, it was so important for God's people, and it is important to us as a people. I'll be going into finer details of these things as we enter into, as we build upon the foundation that we are laying. I'll be able to enter deeply into these things. But the main point why Israelites brought a third, one third or 1/4 of, or they were required of that, it was because it is not that the Lord don't have these things, but they were participating in the plan of redemption. As we give our tithes and offering, we participate in the plan of redemption. We come to that point where we actually crucify self in us and covetousness. So we are told in 1 Timothy 2:7.1, the tithing system I saw will develop character and manifest the true state of the heart. And Acts of Apostle 5:60.2, those who will gain the blessing of sanctification must first learn the meaning of self-sacrifice. It is the fragrance of our love for our fellow men that reveals our love for God. Again, in Ministry of Healing, page 186, paragraph 2. This arrangement did not, however, wholly do away with poverty. It was not God's purpose that poverty should wholly cease. It is one of the means for the development of character. The poor, he says, shall never cease out of the land. Therefore, I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in thy land. Deuteronomy 15:11. And in Christ Object Lesson 384.2, the completeness of Christian character is attained when the impulse to help and bless others springs constantly from within, when the sunshine of heaven fills the heart and is revealed in the countenance. Now, if God gave his son for our salvation, we should be thinking of what it cost heaven for our salvation. We should think of what was the cost of heaven for our salvation. And then we shouldn't have this attitude of retaining anything from the Lord or giving grudgingly when we give. And so may the Lord bless us. I have just been laying the foundation of some of these things, but I'll go through them systematically and slowly by slowly and with some more information so that we may see what the Lord is calling us to do. Otherwise, may the Lord bless us and may he keep us and may he give us that liberal spirit. It is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Bye for now.